share some thoughts about so-called LCV segment, about that market potential a little bit, about some cases that we did and might be useful for you. And I have some concerns also. I would like to share with you and maybe to have some discussion afterwards. So shall we? So let's start from market overview. I just want to remind you why this LCV segment is so important to us. First of all, it's 1.2 billion light vehicles running on the roads globally right now. So it's a huge bag of money with very low penetration rate. So that's why it is very attractive to us. And by the 2035, we expect to have around 2 billion vehicles on the road, probably some of them without any tracker or fleet management solution integrated. So speaking about the distribution between a type of a vehicle, a light vehicle, heavy-duty vehicle, we have 70% of them are light vehicle, passenger vehicles. And what we have here and when we speak about the penetration, we have that HCV segment is 3 to 4 times more penetrated, although it is only 30% of the market. So this is an anomaly and huge opportunity, a gap we can fill in. And we have this trend going on right now, so we more and more getting more into LCV segment business, and that's the trend for upcoming years, and that's, I think, the future. But I know everyone understands that and is going that direction. Now I would like to share some use cases, some projects that we did, and not usual fleet management projects, but some more unusual projects. Maybe it might give you some ideas for some your use cases that you have. And I would like to start from Swiss Post. Could you call that a light vehicle? Very light vehicle, maybe. We have clients in Switzerland that are producing these light vehicles. These are electric tricycles, and these are quite popular among delivery companies, among postal services, and we deliver packages in these countries, especially where petrol engines are forbidden in the old towns and so on and so on. And we had a problem that their clients had very inefficient fleet management solutions. So we wanted to have a tracker installed, and we had a platform of their own, and we wanted to increase their operational efficiency. Also, we have some issues with safety. It's quite easy to get hurt driving this vehicle. Because of careless driving, of abusing of the vehicles, we had very high maintenance costs the companies had. Just to mention an example, the drivers, postmen, always trying to avoid walking to the client, delivering package. So we were just driving that kind of vehicle on the sidewalk, just hitting the sidewalk, probably damaging something, and that was like a normal way of operating that vehicle. And we wanted a solution from us, how we can basically increase their efficiency and how to reduce all safety issues, how to improve driving habits, and so on. So we stepped in. We had few challenges. First of all, that's not typical light vehicle, not typical LCV. And we do not have a standard CAN bus line, which is typical for everyone. You just put device, use some CAN clips, connect, and you have telemetry, you have all other data that you can use and sell. We are using CAN Open. That was like a first interaction for us, integrating CAN Open protocol, which is not standard issue. So that was the first challenge. Second challenge was, as I mentioned, the drivers driving on the sidewalks, hitting and damaging vehicles. So basically, thanks to this client, our third generation accident impact detection was born. So we basically designed, based on client's demand, a feature that detects when the vehicle hits the sidewalk, and it works very well. And just to sum up, the result is that client was happy. We managed to reduce their operational cost. We managed to improve reduce maintenance cost because the drivers started driving more properly. Safety was improved, and so on. So that's an example when the client forces to to make some features that are reused by other clients and brings value to other clients as well. Another interesting client is BGS, Baltic Ground Services. This is a company from Lithuania, and they are providing services to airports, airlines. They are delivering luggage, catering, and all that kind of stuff. And we approach us as well. We have few challenges. You can imagine that operating in airport has a lots of restrictions, overspeeding restrictions, access control. The persons need to be checked. They have to be sober to operate the equipment. So we have multiple of challenges. We accepted that. So we provided a solution. Of course, we have light vehicles. That's a standard solution. But the challenges started when we had to integrate very exotic equipment. I mean, when was the last time you have installed trackers into a staircase machine or a luggage handling machine? So we had to do integration with that kind of equipment, exotic equipment, luggage delivery systems, and so on. So that was the first challenge, and somehow we managed to do that. We used for access control, we use pretty much standard RFID solution that driver has to identify themselves. We use alco blocks to prevent driving under influence, to ensure that drivers are driving not influenced by any alcohol. So that client is happy. We helped them to improve management costs, to improve their operational efficiency, and we are expanding and providing the services, exporting to other airports, to foreign airports, and so on. And the third case, the last case, I'm quite proud of. It's a car sharing solution. We did that in Lithuania. We have a company called Spark, eSpark, and they provide car sharing solution to anyone. And they operate only electric only fleet. That was a very challenging project for us initially because we never had experience doing car sharing. And yeah, we stepped up and we tried to find a solution. First thing is car sharing is about remote control of a vehicle, locking, unlocking, blinking, sounding horn, and seeing some telemetry data, preventing theft, and we had little prior experience. What we did, we sent our engineers, we sat in these vehicles, we did integrations, we did reverse engineering, we found the ways how to lock all doors, how to make a horn sound, and all other stuff. Second, less visible feature or less visible challenge was if you want to have a great car sharing service, you need to have very smooth user experience. If you take an application, take your phone, if you press unlock button, you expect it to unlock in 1 second or less. And we have cases abroad when you needed to wait 20 seconds or something just to unlock the vehicle. So that was an issue, and we had many limitations of network operators just to maintain the connection to the server. So due to this, we got very deep knowledge in network architecture, how to very efficiently maintain connectivity all the time with the server, to have very low latency, to have a very good experience for the client while still keeping data consumption in touch. And that client is also growing very well. They are expanding their businesses in other European countries at this moment using our solution. Now I would like to share some maybe concerns or my thoughts about what we hear from automotive industry that might affect GPS manufacturers or other fleet management companies. So there are a few things coming. We participated in many conferences. We have contacts with OEM vehicle manufacturers, so we discuss with them what's coming, and a few things are coming. Let's start from the good things. The outlook. So industry outlook is great. Production of vehicle is increasing. Logistic companies, transportation companies are growing. So potential clients are growing. So that looks very good for us. However, there are some technological things that are coming and that might affect some of us. First of all, now it's all about security and safety and data privacy. And many manufacturers, I think most of them, are now trying to protect their vehicles from any aftermarket solution, from interacting with vehicles, from reading telemetry data. And this is happening right now. There are lots of discussions. How it's going to be finalized, I'm not sure. But for sure, it's going to be our bread, Campus, will be encrypted in some way, meaning that communication between ECUs will be encrypted. That somehow affects the traditional way of using solutions when you just clip on the CAN lines and you read fuel data and all other data that brings value to the client. That is coming, and we have to prepare for that. Ethernet is coming to the vehicle. Because of limitation of the campuses, manufacturers are trying to implement Ethernet for telemetry, for diagnostics, and so on and so on. So that is one of the interfaces that we might need to adjust to cope with, to read out data, to provide data to the client, and to be competitive in that industry. All of that is because of, not all of that, but autonomous vehicle thing is coming a lot. And due to this, the manufacturers are trying to prevent any interaction, aftermarket interaction with the vehicles at all. That will definitely affect manufacturers, GPS manufacturers. So we have to prepare for that. One thing, not a bad thing, but maybe a good thing, what is coming to Europe, it's becoming more and more trend. It's so-called LCV over OBD solution. Then in the old way, you have to find a CAN bus line in the vehicle, you have to connect, it's hard installation, it takes some time, you can avoid warranties doing that, and so on. And now that thing is coming from the US, basically. Our competitors, let's say, companies from the US are using this method for quite a long time. Basically, it means you just connect to the socket, OBD socket, and you use official manufacturer's protocols to read out data, basically to provide some valuable information to the client. And that's not popular in Europe yet. We see that it's becoming a trend, and more companies are trying to implement that. We already have that. We see that our competitors are also going to release the solution soon. And the good thing about this solution, about these issues, it might overcome such issues like these ones. So that might be the only way to proceed in the future. And it's easy to use way. It's safe way. And it is cost-efficient way to do business in this way. And just a few summarizing comments. Yeah, because of security, we are trying to close vehicle to aftermarket as possible. Another threat for us, more and more manufacturers are installing inbuilt telematics, and they're providing APIs. That's very good for the integrators, not very good for GPS manufacturers, tracker manufacturers, and very new thing, patents. That's very serious threat. You can more apply it it's more applied in the US, but almost everything we do is patented there. And now patent holders, patent trolls, let's say, they are suing big companies. And the last case, it was the Calamp just lost the case, and they have to pay $17 million in damages and royalties. So, as from what I hear from lawyers, such kind of cases are coming to Europe as well. So we have to be prepared and to watch if our products are not infringing anything, if it's properly licensed, and so on. So that's it. On that note, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Maybe we have some questions.
Please, questions from the audience. Raise your hands. We'll bring you a microphone.
Hi, this is Walid Al-Bashir. I'm from Dubai.
Can you close your microphone a little bit closer?
Yeah. Walid Al-Bashir from Dubai. Been using Ruptela, like mostly 70% of my devices are Ruptela. It's a good devices. I've got a couple of questions. The new model which you're talking about has Bluetooth. Some time back, we got some devices before 2 years, which has Bluetooth, and then I heard this is overruled after that for the TCO
So
range. So I don't know what is the reason for that.
why we don't have Bluetooth at this moment?
Yeah.
So we tested the market with our Bluetooth solution, and from the feedback that we received, it was not the right time to launch a Bluetooth. I think we're gonna change this policy because we saw like quite good use cases, especially in US, Canadian markets. What's happening? So
Yeah.
it was like denied. It was not relevant before.
We hope to see this back in the soon future. You know. The second thing, we have tested the plug device.
Yeah.
Basically, we run some R&D on electric vehicles, and particularly on Tesla Jiffy Bolt and Renault Zoe. So we've tested with Jiffy Bolt, you know, for some time, and then we got a complaint from the Jiffy guys that there were some errors that's coming into the dashboard. So my question here will be, what are the difference between putting a telematic device, especially reading CAN data and all? Are there any particular differences between combustion engine and electric vehicles? And the other part of the question regarding electric vehicles is that similar to identifying the fuel consumption, basically from the CAN or whatever, is there any way to identify the energy consumption
from electric vehicles.
from electric vehicles? Yeah.
So
Because the data is there already, as you know.
yeah, answering to your first questions, there are no significant differences between electric vehicles and internal combustion engine vehicles, and except for Tesla. And might be some bug if you had some errors, and if you use plug solution, did you use plug solution?
We use the plug 4 device.
Okay, so
from Ruptela.
Okay.
Yeah, and they had a complaint. It might be a genuine one, or it might be just being overprotective, you know, and all. But we just had to remove the device from there.
Okay, I'm not sure about this case. Might be a bug, might be some issue with a battery, car battery. I cannot answer at this moment. I'm not sure about what case it is about. About your second question, it is possible to retrieve data about power, about battery level, about remaining distance of a battery, and that is already integrated, I think so.
Thank you. Any other questions? Please raise your hands. Okay, I have a question then to Sarunas. Can you go a few slides back where you say about challenges? Yeah, you say that we have to prepare for those kind of challenges. So, in particular, CAN encryption. What is Ruptela's experience? I mean, do you research and do you do R&D so you can, know how you can read that data from CAN when it will be encrypted, like CAN readers or something?
Yeah, good question. This problem, basically, the CAN is encrypted specifically not to have any external interaction with the CAN. So the manufacturers intentionally are blocking the way to connect. So I don't think if we want to block, there will be no easy way to connect. And
so
that is the solution.
Yes.
From us, how to survive, let's say, after having such a situation, after CAN encryption.
So can you say that it's more negotiation with the vehicle manufacturers? It's more in a legal way than a technical way
it's
to
a
do
technical as well. If we want to protect, we will have a very nice way to protect, and we already we are not hiding how we do that. During manufacturing of ECUs, we are inserting private public keys, and the vehicle is basically has their own private keys in all ECUs, and so all the communication is encrypted, and only the manufacturer has capability to understand what is going between ECUs. And negotiations would help the major diagnostic manufacturers, I think. Companies our size, we don't give a damn, let's say. So it's more about finding different ways, reading through OBD, maybe integrating with manufacturers' APIs, basically avoid avoid using aftermarket GPS units. So basically avoid, mitigate problem.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. Give please a round of applause to
Thank you.
Sarunas. And we invite Tim Almay from Escort to speak about the Escort monitoring system. Please give us just 1 minute to change the microphones. Stay tuned.